All right. So we came up with a game, or I should say that I came up with a game that we're going to close this episode on.
Okay.
And I'm not giving myself credit or blame. Actually, that's what I'm doing. If you hate this game, it's my fault. I thought of it. It's not anything original. Basically, throughout the baseball season, pitchers and catchers reported we're approaching baseball season. Throughout the baseball season, I think we can play this game where I tell you a player, give you some information on him.
Yeah.
You tell me we're going to do home runs for the whole season, because then we can just measure how many on ones that you get wrong, how many home runs was my over-under off.
Okay.
And then we can sum that up at the end of the year and declare a winner, and maybe we'll give ourselves a bottle of Eagle Rare or give the other person a bottle of Eagle Rare.
That sounds
good whiskey.
I love baseball, so this is, I feel like if there's
and
any sport I should know.
You're also going to give me an over-under. You're aware of this part of the game, right?
Oh, okay.
Is this something you weren't aware of?
Well, right? I understood the basics, but I can give you, if you give me an example, I can certainly give you.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example, and we'll make it because we're both Mariners fans.
All right.
And this isn't going to be the one, but it would be. Hold on. That was exciting for everybody.
Classy.
Okay, so Mr. Mariner, Alvin Davis.
Yeah, he was like my favorite player growing up.
Wow, you're old.
Yeah.
1984, he starts his career with the Mariners. He's the first star the Mariners have ever had.
Really, yeah.
He plays, 8 years with the Mariners?
Yeah.
4,244 or 240 at bats, 1,206 games. Over under Alvin Davis home runs, 190.5.
For his career,
his full career.
Not just with the Mariners.
Not just with the Mariners.
I would say it's under.
Okay. It is under.
Yeah.
So you would not, I wouldn't, basically the idea is if I get you to guess wrong,
yeah,
then I would get like that many home runs. So if I was right, it would be like, I guess we'd say 190. I'd get 30 home runs in my score.
Okay.
Or we could do a net, I guess. I don't know. We'll figure that part we can figure out later. But that wasn't the one that I wanted to pick. I'm just giving you an example.
Okay. I thought we were going to do like, you'd name a player. Like, say, Pete Alonso, right? Like a player for this year, right? And be like, okay, what do you think? Over,
under?
You
thought it was going to be like a prediction thing.
Yeah, like an over-under, like 43 home runs.
I want it to be like, my dream is like we go, like Brady Anderson. We know Brady Anderson's known for hitting home runs. I think he hit them all in 1 year.
Yeah.
But it's like
51.
Right. And he's got 57 for his career, I think. But no, like there are guys like that who are like surprising guys where you go, oh, they were in the league for this long. Did they hit more or less home runs?
Right. Okay.
Okay. So
we can literally prove whether our answers are
in
correct.
the moment. We're throughout the season. It's just like a test of your general baseball knowledge.
Okay.
Because the other thing about this, the reason why I think adding up the home runs gives us some incentive to actually pick like interesting ones instead of going like Alvin Davis has 160 home runs.
Okay.
If I was like over under 159 home runs, and you say under, and I'm like fuck you, got it wrong, but it's like by one home run, that sucks. Like that's just like me tricking you into.
Okay.
So
I get it now. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think you can come up with this in a short amount of time? Well, I vamp briefly because I do have the guy that I want to talk about. We're going to go through a lot of these, so don't feel like you need to be too precious about this first one.
Now tell me, are you picking a Mariner to give me for this first one?
This first one will be a guy who played for the Mariners. So if you could do the same, that would be. We could actually do a themed thing if we wanted to.
I got a guy. I'm gonna pull a guy up right now.
Hopefully, it's not the guy that I'm thinking of.
If it is, then I'm gonna get this question right because I'm looking at his stats as we speak.
Mark McLemore.
Okay, it's not that guy. It's maybe the Latin version of him, but it's not
Stan Javier?
No, close.
Okay. Mark McLemore played 19 seasons, only 4 with the Mariners, had a career year in 2001 and a very good season in 2000 also. Played everywhere, all positions. Really, I think an underrated baseball player, by the way.
Yeah.
This is the guy, we talked about this on the last episode, but if I could do like a where the fuck are those guys now? He's like top of the list.
He's way more valuable in today's game than he was. He was ahead of his time because super subs back then.
Teams would have understood his value better now.
Super subs back then were afterthoughts. Now they are a commodity for sure.
Yeah, a guy that was a switch hitter, had like decent plate discipline, walked quite a bit for his time, especially considering he's like a pretty small guy. Over under Mark McLemore home runs 67.
I'm going to say under.
You motherfucker. It's 53. 53 home runs.
He wasn't much of a power hitter.
He did hit 7 in 2002. He was like a decent doubles hitter. In my memory, he was a better power hitter than he.
I mean, some of his best years were in Seattle.
Yeah,
I have to imagine.
But they were all like on base percentage and high batting average.
He was more of a slap hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Man, what I thought about if I said 40. Do you think you would have said over?
40. Yeah, 40's tough. How many years did he play again?
19.
Yeah, I probably would have said over because that's like you're talking about like 2 a year at that point.
Yeah, I was trying to. The dream is to get someone that's like, and I think when we do it, we should do it by like some theme. So it's like you pick a guy who played in the '60s, I pick a guy that played in the '60s.
Sure.
We talked about Willie Stargell. I thought about doing that. Let's hold on, Willie Stargell. You tell me. I'm gonna give you an over under on Willie Stargell, and because we talked about this.
Wait, how many points do I get from McLemore? How far off was it?
Well, yeah. So are we gonna count it? You were 13. You get 13 points. So I risk 13 points. You're plus 13. I like that actually. I like that.
I like the tally of the number because then you're constantly striving to create the highest or lowest bid. To them. Yeah.
So okay, Willie Stargell over under 490 home runs.
Over.
475.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was good. But it's like you take a big risk by setting the over under high, and if you can gain a lot of home runs.
This is the type of that's an aside. If there was anybody who was listening to us for like purely the comedy aspect and not the sports, they all tuned out.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we might. This is for us. This is for us now. This is just for us now.
Well, we can make this part funny. We will.
I
called you a motherfucker in the middle of this. That's yeah.
Okay, here's my guy for you.
Hold on. I think we should do it where you only get points for when you get it wrong, when you make someone get it wrong. So we can take bigger swings. Because then if I take a big swing, you get like 150. If I said 575 and he hit 475, you get 100.
Yeah. But see, that's easier with a guy like Stargell. It'd be a lot tougher with a guy like McLemore. Right, like that, because you would never be like
I almost think
over under McLemore 200. Like you would never say that,
right?
Because I would absolutely say under.
Okay, well we're gonna do the two Mark McLemore and whoever, and we'll figure out the details of the rules before next week because
we'll record this somewhere. Yeah. For all the people keeping score at home and your score. By the way, people who keep score for spring training games, because I have seen some people that like actually pull out a scorebook for spring training games, like. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I totally appreciate it for like a real game. Like, hey, go. I used to do that as a kid. Like, take the scorebook out and score a Major League Baseball game. But spring training, I mean,
you know what I think it's good for? Genuinely, Alex. Let's get serious. It's good for when you have ADHD and it helps you concentrate.
Hey, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I kind of do. So
right, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's things that will like center me on something that like occupies the other part of my brain. I
mean, it's a lot of names you're writing down for a spring training.
Sure.
Game. So I guess if you get it right, good.
Well, nobody should be grading it at the end.
All right, here's my guy for you. You ready for this one?
Yes, the Latin Mark McLemore.
In a way, Jose Vidro.
Ooh,
Jose Vidro, who was, I will say he was a 3-time All-Star, never with the Mariners.
Yeah.
But he played 12 years, mostly with Montreal.
Yeah, the defunct Montreal Expos.
He actually, he played 2 years with the Washington Nationals, too. So, like, he was one of those guys that spanned the era. The move from Montreal to D.C. And then the final 2 years of his career, as is often the case, the Mariners killed his career. Those were the last 2 years that he played. But he was a pretty good hitter in Seattle.
Can you bring up in Seattle, because he was like a second baseman by trade typically, right?
Mostly DH for the Mariners.
Yeah, that's the fucking stupid thing the Mariners would do is bring a guy like I love John Olerud as much as the next guy, but when you bring a guy in that's hitting like 13 home runs a year as a first baseman.
Yeah, they made him a first baseman DH mostly. He did play at least a couple games at second base because it shows up on his
a good one.
Yeah, Jose Vidro's a good one because he was I always felt like prior to coming to Seattle, he was a very good player. Like when his first year in Seattle, he was 32 years old. That's older. It's on the wrong side of 30, but by no means do you think someone's done at 32.
Especially not now. I think maybe back then it was a little worse to be hitting your 30s.
For sure. I mean, we're coming off the steroid era at that point. 2007 was his first year in Seattle.
He kind of reminds me of, the guy, Carlos Baerga. You were like, this guy seems really good. Carlos Baerga had some very good seasons. And maybe, Carlos Baerga was also playing alongside a couple notable steroid users, but maybe he was...
the Cleveland team that he was on was very good.
Yeah.
Very good. But he was one of those guys that, like, super hyped, played pretty well his first few years, and then, like, kind of fell off a cliff.
Yeah, like he's one of those guys I believe got a contract, and then it fell apart.
He led the league in gold chains. I do remember that. That was a big thing in the 90s. All right.
Carlos Baerga, Jose Vidro.
Jose Vidro, yeah. Now, not really known as a power hitter, but he could take it out. He could take it out from time to time. The Mariners signed him to play DH, so obviously. Yeah. So we're going to go his home run tally.
Can you give me game and at-bat total?
Yes. Game total, 1,418 over the 12 years. Plate appearances, 5,708. At-bats, 5,113.
Sure.
Quite a few at-bats, quite a few plate appearances. He was the top of the order guy his whole career. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a number.
That's good.
I'm going to give you a number at some point.
I like that. I like that about you.
111.
Oh. And this is, you said you were going to give me an even number and then gave me the oddest number, the number that's the
3 ones.
Three odd numbers in a row.
You got to keep in mind, not known as a power hitter, but could hit the ball for power.
So this is where you can lead the witness, and I understand what you're doing right now, and I think I'm going under.
You're going under 111. You are incorrect.
Fuck me in the ass.
128 is the number.
Okay, so you have 17 home runs. At minimum, you have 17 home runs in your coffer. I will see what you have with... To lose both is rough.
Yeah, he had in the year 2000, he was an all-star with the Expos. He had 24 home runs. That was his career high. But from 1999 through 2004, so 6 consecutive seasons. No, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6. He was double-digit home runs, all 6 of those. But those were also the only 6 years of his career where he was double-digit home runs.
God
also coincided with the steroid era, so we can't rule that out.
I might have the Bay Area Lab Cooperative to blame for... All right, well, this is the end of the episode, I think. This is how we're going to end it. We got to find some other segments. We're going to really turn this into a Morning Zoo sports radio and then call it good. All right, thank you for listening.